Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today. Better late than never is what they say. Yes, I know I'm off track, you guys. I'm off schedule. It's been a crazy week. Our last 7 days, I should say. I mean, we had flights and funerals and birthdays and anniversaries, and it was just a lot. So I think I'm going to be back on track after today. So that's why you're getting Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14 episode. It'll be right on the screen. Anyway, you guys, the review. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the show opens with Sheree. Sheree is talking to Cairo. That's her son. Remember, he's a model. I think he's trying to get into some acting as well, but she tells him that she's going to have a men's line along with She by Sheree. I guess it'll be He by Sheree. She wants him to possibly model in her show that's coming up. And he said that that would be fine. She said that she's getting all of her ideas and her thoughts out on paper with the person that she's working with. It has to happen. She by Sheree has to come off of the ground, you guys. She's got to make it happen. And if it doesn't, if it fails this time, then she's just going to bury it. I was like, thank you, Sheree. I think we're over She by Sheree. I think she's the only one that really still wants it to happen. But maybe that's the only person that matters, right? Now, later on, we see her out. She's sourcing fabrics. I was like, you source fabrics in Atlanta? I mean, I guess you can, but I mean, this is not really known as a fashion district. It seems like she would have been in New York or in Los Angeles where, you know, they have whole actual areas of just mounds and mounds of fabric, but what do I know? Okay. Anyway, she's talking to the ladies there that are helping her, and she says that she's going to have this men's line. She's going to have joggers. That's going to be on the men's, that's going to be coming up for the men as well. And she tells them that she wants it to have these particular joggers. She wants them to have a VPL, a VPL. Okay. And they're looking at her like, what? Okay. Now we've been doing this for a long time. We ain't never heard of a VPL. She said, y'all know what a VPL is? It's a visual print line. Oh, okay. So she wants everybody, these men, to be wearing these joggers, and for us to see the imprint of his ding-a-ling. It's like, I mean, although that would be nice to see on some men, certain men of a certain size probably shouldn't be walking around with joggers on that's tight enough to see a VPL. So I don't know how that's gonna work out. Okay, is that your universal cut? Are you going to have another jogger that doesn't show a VPL, Sheree? I mean, I guess. Anyway, she's thankful for the girls that are helping her. She says after all of that she has been through with Tyrone, she doesn't feel bad for putting herself first. And then she jumps over into Martell's bed. Now let's jump over to Marlo. So Marlo is at l'Archive, I should say. And no, it is Les Archive because she spells it Lay first. Anyway, Marlo has Sheree down there, and they having a little glass of champagne and talking about what else? Marlo's issues with the boys. Michael told Ty that the boys miss being home. He said that William doesn't do anything all day. He stays in the bed. He doesn't brush his teeth. He doesn't take a shower. And I'm like, what are these boys doing? Are they just laying around doing nothing, or are they on vacation? I was just like, first of all, why are you so worried about it? When she said that she called to see, was it okay that the boys are just laying around and not doing nothing? I was just like, don't be trying to regulate from over there. You put the boys out. You ain't want to be bothered. You said that they was too much. They wasn't listening. It's stressing you out and everything. Okay, fine. Then don't stress yourself out by being on the phone and trying to call and see what your sister is doing when you already put 2 more kids on top of her 4. Okay? So I was just like, whatever, Marlo. Sonya shows up as well, because you guys know Sonya. This is her new set of besties. That thing with Kenya and Candy didn't work out. So now she's got Marlo and Sheree to push up under. So they sit down and they're talking about the short trip that they took to the mountains, and Sonya says that Kenya ruined the whole trip by coming. Kenya's my girl and I like her and everything, but basically she couldn't understand why Kenya was there if she was just gonna complain and come after Marlo. We're supposed to be here for Marlo. We're supposed to love on Marlo. Marlo needs our support when Marlo don't give nobody else shit. That's all she gives them is shit, actually. And then on top of Sonya's blah, Then we get Marlo saying, and also, I was really disappointed by Candy, okay? Because right is right and wrong is wrong. I was just like, you're going to always figure out a way to circle it back to Candy. Now, Candy made it a point to stay out of everybody's way at that trip. Candy ain't did nothing. Marlo didn't say anything to Candy because Candy didn't do anything. But for some reason, now that it's after the trip, Marlo remembers it differently, and she says that Candy wasn't. I was just like, as a matter of fact, Candy was kind of coming at Kenya like, you tripping. So now all of a sudden you got a problem with Candy, Marlo. Anyways, Sonya says this trip to Jamaica, she wants it to be a couple's trip. Now, this makes absolutely no sense when half of the housewives on the show are not a couple. Marlo's not seeing anybody, Sherea's not seeing anybody, and neither is Kenya. So how do you tell these people that aren't seeing anybody they have to bring a fucking plus one? I mean, can my plus one be my homegirl? Because if that's the case, then that's fine. But don't come telling me that I need to bring a fucking man if I don't have one. Now, her reasoning is that when the women all go do something, then the men can all do something as well. But the men can still do something with just Todd, Sonya's husband, and Drew's husband. That's perfectly fine. We don't need to have 6 men just because it is 6 women. So that immediately got on my nerves. And then we got the 2 single fools that's sitting up there talking to Sonya that didn't see a problem with this at all. So Sonya calls Kenya. We're going to talk about where Kenya is later. But she calls Kenya on the FaceTime. And, Kenya's at Candy's house, basically. And she's telling Kenya that, she's going to have this trip and she wants it to be a couple's trip, so everybody needs to bring a plus one, a man, so that it can be a true couple's trip. And Kenya was just like, okay, and on that note, girl, bye. And hung up the phone because, bitch, I'm going through a divorce. I'm not seeing anybody. It's not even proper for me to see somebody right now. People would be talking about Kenya if she come up here with another man, a romantic interest anyway. I was like, I guess she could bring Brandon. Isn't that her homeboy? But still, it's just the point that Sonya is pushing this. And when she hangs up, Sonya gets offended. Like, did she just hang up in my face? Marlo was just like, she just know that she ain't got nobody to bring. Who the fuck you bringing, Marlo? Worry about what you doing, because you also a single woman that needs to try to figure out who the hell you bringing. And as far as we know, you ain't told us that you seeing somebody. So stop worrying about what the fuck Kenya doing. I was just like, anything to get an argument. Anything to get an argument. Sonya really works my nerves. Gosh, I had such high hopes for her at the beginning of the season. Let's talk about Marlo going to see Dr. Tart. Okay, she's going to see a counselor. Is this really the couch? Am I really getting on the couch? I can't believe it. Okay. Yes, Marlo, it's time for you to sit down and come to terms with your life on this couch. So Dr. Tart says, is it okay if I open in prayer? Please, please do. We need some covering here. So after he prays, immediately Marlo starts crying. And she explains to him how she ended up with her nephew. So back in 2019, her sister, who has some mental issues, is in jail. And the boys was just kind of stranded out there. They called her and was just like, Auntie, can you come get us? And she was like, absolutely. So she went down there and she got the boys. 2019, she's had them for 3 years. And as they get older, she's finding that it's a little more difficult for her to successfully raise them. Now, when she starts talking to the doctor about them not cleaning up their room and, one of them getting mad and punching a hole in the wall, first of all, I feel like we've left out some parts of the reason why the boy punched a hole in the wall, okay? Because usually, I'm not saying all the times, but usually there's some reason why that whole thing went down. Now, is he just mad that you're going to New York? That doesn't really make sense. What is the reason? What was the confrontation for this boy to punch a hole in the wall? Not saying that it's okay. It's never okay to be doing shit like that, okay? But what I'm saying is, we need to get down to the bottom of the reasons why the kids were doing what they were doing. Now, as far as cleaning up your room and not listening, saying that your bed is made and it's not really made. I can't tell you, countless mothers and fathers out there will tell you that your kids will tell you straight to your face, can I go outside? I already cleaned up my room. And you say, okay, because you just trust on the fact. And then you go look in that room and that motherfucker look worse than it did before you asked him the question. It's just sort of like, I don't know exactly what you think, but yes, when your kids are smaller, they listen. As they get older, as they get their own personality, as they get stuck in their own certain ways, then yes, they don't fucking listen. That is normal. And Marlo, I guess in her mind just had it like she's gonna have these perfect two boys. And I mean, I think she's probably done good enough for them, but you know, it's a job. Being a parent is not always easy. And that's what Dr. Tart told her. He was just like, you know what? I'm sure you're doing the best that you can. Being a parent isn't easy and it's not always fun. It's definitely not fun when you get into confrontations with your kids, okay? I know I don't like getting into confrontations. Now, when they were younger, I didn't really care as much because I was like, I don't give a fuck what you say. But now that they're older and, you know, everybody has opinions and you try to be respectful of how they feel as well. But the bottom line is, nigga, this the mama right here. No, I mean, you understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, she's gonna have to learn how to deal with this or just totally forget it. So the doctor is trying to tell her how he's gonna give her some tools that will help her get through this as the boys are gone, you know, when they come back, because as of now, it's supposed to be like a 30-day sabbatical. So when the kids come back, you know, she'll be able to better deal with them. She was like, is it bad that I sent them away for 30 days? And he was just like, well, I mean, I don't want to say that it's bad. Okay. It's just, what is the context that you sent these boys away in? If it's just that they're going to visit their auntie for 30 days because, or, you know, for a month because, you know, you just need a little break from each other, then that's one thing. But when you say, I told them to get out, I kicked them out, you know, we got to make sure that these boys don't feel abandoned. So that's where we are with this. Marlo says she just wants structure and respect. The boys respect you. I'm sure that they do. Okay. But I think that she wanting these perfect teenage black boys in Atlanta growing up and living life, they ain't gonna be perfect. Sorry. When she gets the boys back, she tells Dr. Tart that she will bring them with her next time. They all gonna sit on the couch. Now let's jump over to Candy. So remember when I was telling you earlier that Kenya was over at Candy's house? Okay, well, this is when she was there. Candy's little boy Ace, you guys know Ace has my heart. He is one of my favorite reality show babies, okay? He's turning 6. I can't believe it. Time has flown by. I mean, even little baby Blaze looks like she's getting big, like everybody is just growing. Anyway, Candy was just like, it always sucks when your birthday lands in the middle of the week. But I'm having a big party for him this weekend. But still, I invited a few people over so we can have some cake and ice cream for him. Okay, today. So she's invited Kenya over, she's invited Drew over, you know, both of them with their kids, and there was a few other kids that are there as well. And Ace comes in there, when he was just like, it's my birthday today, I was just like, oh, I tell you guys, I miss when Joe and Jada was that little. Oh my God, they was just so pleasant, just so sweet, child. It's just anyway, for his birthday in the midweek party, Candy went and got them a gaming truck. I want for everybody around me's birthdays to be turned up. While the kids are outside playing in the game truck or whatever, Todd is in there and he's just talking to them about security, actually, and the fact that, you know, the person that tried to jump over and come to their house, and of course it hadn't happened yet on the show, but you know, we know that Marlo's house attempted kick-in robbery, and just all of these reality people and all of these influencers, you know, these major influencers, people are actually watching. It seems like you would definitely get 24-hour surveillance. Like, you know, Kenya was like, Cardi B lives right down the street. I know Cardi B was like, now how I get in this? Because ain't nobody told you to tell anybody where I live. Because, you know, Kenya, a lot of people do know where Kenya's house is. And that's the thing. They're all so accessible. Kenya doesn't live in a subdivision. She doesn't live in a gated community. She doesn't live in you know, Kenya and Sheree, they don't live. You're able to easily get to their homes. And then her talking about Cardi B. Now, I don't know if she's in a gated community or whatever, but what I'm saying is that shit is just not safe. Anybody can walk up, Remember Kenya had some years ago when somebody came on her property, even though we think that might have been staged and planned, because all of a sudden she come outside with her gun and she on the surveillance camera. You guys remember all of that? And I was just like, bitch, quit trying to be out here tough. Okay, let the damn security people handle that. Get you some security, let them handle it. You just should not be out there looking for somebody with a damn gun. Now, if they come up on you, that's something else. But you know, you going out to the driveway and I know that today she probably would think twice about doing something like that. But anyway, while they're talking about the play. Kandi was just like, they had to shut down Thoughts of a Colored Man. We had to shut it down because there was a whole wave of the Omicron virus and it had hit all of the cast. So they had to shut the shit down. So of course she's feeling a little bummed about it, you know, and Kenya was just like, well, that would have bankrupted you guys. You know, that could have bankrupted the show. And she said it was threatening to bankrupt it. That's why we were just like, forget it, let's just shut it down. Then all of a sudden Kandi started getting emotional and I'll say, here come the broke up. Here it come, y'all. You know, everybody thinks that everything comes easy for me, and it doesn't. I have to work very hard to get these things. The show wasn't just for her. She wanted to make sure that Black creators out there are able to get their voices heard and get put on the Broadway play stage, and, you know, also have a presence on the Great White Way. So she's disappointed in many, many ways. I said, don't cry, Kandi. It's our day. And so after that, they start talking about the trip to the mountains as well. And Kandi was just like, Drew, literally, you are the bone carrier. Okay, coming up here with these damn bones and shit. Kenya was just like, I think Marlo just officially, she definitely has a bone to pick with me. She's just always gonna be on my back. But you know, she's kind of laughing about it because she's just like, honey, that Marlo is something else. Kenya's attitude this season is everything. I mean, she is just sort of like, girl, whatever. That's all she keeps up is whatever. And this is during the time when Sonya calls talking about she wants it to be a couple's trip, and Kenya hung up the phone. You know, again, Sonya. Now later on, we see Kandi with the whole family. Okay, we don't just have Todd. We got Riley, and we got is it Kayla? Is that her name? Todd's daughter. Okay. And like Kandi said, it's rare that we have all the family together at one time. Okay. And we're recording at the same time. Okay. So yeah, Riley's there, makeup too light. I was just like, why is her makeup that light? I mean, it didn't look bad, but it just doesn't, anyway. Riley, who is a sophomore at NYU. And Kayla, who works in New York in production. She's following in her father's footsteps. And from what they tell us, she's doing pretty good doing that as well. So good for them. Both of the girls are doing what they need to do. Now, we sitting down here because we need to get this trust done. And you guys remember what a fucking fiasco it was just to get Kandi and Todd's prenuptial done. Okay, so you can imagine how this living trust is about to go. Especially when Kandi and Todd see things very differently. Now, the good thing about this is Kandi, the way that Kandi sees things is going to be beneficial to the kids, and Kandi is the one that really has the money. You know, that fucking problem was shady as fuck. When they were talking to the girls, and you know, Kandi was just like, well, you know, there's some things that we have acquired together, and then there's some things that we already had before we got together. So when they put the damn list up and they put all of the shit that Kandi had over here, was this long ass list, and then we put over here on Todd's thing and just had New Jersey condo. I said, you guys are fucked up, okay? But I mean, in the true scheme of things, really, what did Todd have? I'm not saying that Todd and Kandi haven't done well together. What I'm saying is Todd up here regulating on the money, but baby, this is Kandi's money, okay? Yes, you've contributed after the fact, but still, Kandi has a natural born daughter that came from her loins that I'm sure she is going to make sure she looks out for. And of course, she's going to look out for Kayla too. I mean, that is her daughter and her ace and her blaze, right? But this shit that, what I never will understand, or I'm not going to say never, because I used to kind of think like Todd back in the day, but I've changed my way of thinking. When you have money, I never understand why people still think that their children need to struggle. There's one thing to teach your children responsibility. There's one thing to teach your children to be grateful in spite of the fact that you come from a wealthy family, and to not to take it for granted. But I still don't understand this whole thing of my parents are rich, but still I have to live like I'm poor. You know? That's not the lesson to teach. And I just wish that there were black people who could get out of that way of thinking. Okay, it's different when, when your parents don't have it like that. Then yes, everybody's got to work, right? But when you have parents that have it like that, then your children shouldn't know struggle. They really shouldn't. All right, they need to be taught that this is a privilege still. But they shouldn't have to struggle. So, of course, while they're sitting there and Todd is talking about this, wanting to distribute the money differently, even though I think Riley did agree with him, because, Riley was just like, well, I would rather have the money while I'm going, because what if I wanted to invest it in a business or something? Maybe Todd's model is a little bit better for what Riley would want, but still, Candy's saying, you talking about the shit that we have like together and we're together. What if something happens to one of us? Like if I die, then am I supposed to be leaving you in charge of making the decisions of what money goes to my child, who is not your child, and then your child, who's not my child? Like, I need to be able, that's the part that they're disagreeing on. And Todd gets offended by that. But everybody there was just like, no, we don't want Todd to be in charge of making the money decisions. Let Candy do it. And then Todd was really upset. I was just like, Todd, with all due respect, just let Candy handle this one, okay? And you just make sure that, some of the things that you feel super strongly about, then you go on and put your foot down on that. But as far as like the general concept of making sure that the children get what they're supposed to, just let Candy handle it, because I don't know what Todd trying to do. But I mean, I totally get what Todd is saying. I want to teach them to be self-sufficient and all that. And you can still teach that. You really can still teach that. You ain't got to just be free flowing with the money and just giving them shit every time they turn around. But what I'm saying is, I think that Todd wants them to have the life that he lived. Okay, well, Todd, your mama and your daddy was not in the financial situation that Candy and you are in. So it's always about progression, getting better, things every generation, getting better and better and building on that. So yeah, anyway, I've talked long enough about that, but that Todd was upset. Now, later on, Todd and Candy are talking, and Candy was just like, are you cooled down from earlier? And he was just like, it's fine. It's fine. The girls are entitled. They're spoiled, and, they don't respect how I feel about it. I was just like, get out of your feelings, Todd. Candy was just like, well, we are a family, and we should have a space where the girls can say how they feel. And he was just like, and shouldn't I be able to say how I feel too? I mean, that's how I felt about it. You don't trust that I'm going to take care of Riley. And she was just like, no, it's not that. It's just that you're not going to be as free with the coins as I would. Like I said, Todd wouldn't be in charge of none of that shit. I'm sorry. Anyway, she talks about the play, how she's down in the dumps, that, they had to cancel. But one of the other producers called me and asked me if I would be interested in producing another play. Okay, but she's not real sure how that's going to go, because, we are on top of COVID. Omicron is still out there. It could attack this cast and crew the same way it did the other one, and then they would be out of another play, But Todd tells her, listen, you got to take the chance. Like, you go from one thing, you jump into the next. Okay, feet first, and you just gotta let the chips fall where they may. But you need to go on and do this, And she was just like, see, I love the way you push me, babe. Okay, she says that she and Todd are a good match. I think that they are. I think that Todd plays up a lot of the rumors, how people feel about him and everything. But I do think that they do well together. But like I said, let Candy be the one in charge of that trust situation. Todd, you just continue to motivate your wife. Okay, because we need to make this money to spend for you to go on your vacations and whatnot. Jumping over to Sonya. So Sonya had decided that she is going to give Sheree a surprise birthday party. Nothing too big. It's just going to be at her house. She's just going to invite the girls over. But yeah, this is yet another way for her to slide her friendship in with Marlo and Sheree. Gonna be cake, ice cream, small little things with the girls. So at Sonya's house, she has her assistant Rakeem there, and they're getting the foods together and got a photo booth set up and, all of that so that the girls can have selfie shots and have fun. Got balloons, everything. Whole party atmosphere. And she was like, this is the first time the ladies done came to the crib. So, she got to make sure that everything is good. So first Marlo gets there. Hey, everybody hugs. Then Candy gets there next. Well, Marlo, are you feeling better? And Marlo was just like, am I feeling better about? You want to kick everybody out. You can't kick her out of Sonya's house, although Sonya might let Marlo, considering. Monyetta gets there. Drew gets there complaining that you don't live in Atlanta. Okay. She probably lives out far Duluth area like Portia and Nene, where you get more house, more land, maybe a little bit more peace. And of course, when Drew gets there, she always has to make the announcement that she's coming in peace or something. I was just like, oh God, Drew, just come in, just sit down. Okay, we don't need any announcements. All right. Next, Kenya gets there. And Marlo is just like, I don't care what Kenya does. I am not going to let her spoil my vibe. Kenya's not thinking about Marlo. She doesn't even say anything to Marlo when she comes in. Okay, and she's all her happy-go-lucky self. Hey, everybody, big smiles, big laughs. So Sonya was just like, oh, Kenya, I want to talk to you. I want to show you around and, get some of your design ideas. Okay, so she takes her around the house, and she also said this is a time to get her, out in private so she can talk to her about getting hung up on. I said, girl, it isn't even not that big of a fucking deal. Okay? Kenya don't care. She's obviously at your party. She didn't have an attitude. So, everything doesn't have to be addressed. But, this group of girls, or when it comes to Sonya and Drew, everything has to be addressed. Every fucking thing. So she takes Kenya around. Kenya gives her some ideas about certain things. And then she was like, oh, so I wanted to talk to you about, you hanging up on me. And Kenya was just like, yeah, well, I hung up on you because you asking me to bring somebody to this couples trip, and I'm not going to allow anybody to make me feel any kind of way other than how I want to feel. Now, you know that I'm going through a divorce. The man that I was with, he was one of those ones that would run over me, would railroad me, would make me feel guilty about saying things and doing things, and I'm not doing that shit no more. Okay, grown ass fucking woman. And if I'm on the phone with somebody and they telling me some bullshit, then I am going to hang up the phone. Okay. But if you want an apology, maybe, Kenya didn't even really apologize. She just was just sort of like, you asked me to bring somebody, I'm going through a divorce. I'm not seeing anybody. So don't do this shit to me. So she did reiterate to Sonya that, no, that is not okay. So of course, while they're missing, and Monyetta was just like, where did they go? And Candy was just like, well, they had to talk to her about the couples trip. A grown woman shouldn't be hanging up on anyone. Marlo, be quiet. I can just see Marlo doing so many of these things that she swears that people shouldn't be doing anyway. Like I said, Sonya apologizes for putting Kenya in the predicament, and then they join the rest of the girls. So when they come back out, they're trying to set up this stage because Sheree is, I guess they're going to have Sheree stand up on the stage. I don't know. Anyway, they're having a hard time getting the thing set up. While they're in the middle of doing that, that's when Sheree shows up in her full Gucci suit. I said, Sheree said, honey, you going to see these labels. Everything that she puts on is just like throwing up at us, Gucci, Fendi, everything has the labels, Okay, I'm not mad. She looked nice, but still, it's just like, okay, Sheree. So anyway, she gets there, and she was just like, oh, is this for me? Is this for me? Yes, Sheree. I feel like everything has been for Sheree all fucking season. Okay, this looked like this the third some sort of party that they've had for Sheree. So when they get there, you know, I guess they're gonna set up. They're gonna sing "Happy Birthday" to her, and we've got some singers in the house. You know, we've got Candy, we've got Drew, and she was just like, you know, we're going to sing. And first, Drew doesn't want to do it because she ain't really feeling Sheree, you know, Sheree being friends with Fatum and all of that. But then she sings, you know, a quick little happy birthday to you, you know. And Drew has a very good voice. She's actually a nice voice. It's just too bad that Drew gets on our fucking nerves. Drew sings the song, and, you know, Sheree is just so impressed that Sonya threw this for her. You know, she said that she is a ride or die. I said, yeah, she's an apprentice in your bone-carrying school of gossip. Okay? So she's feeling Sonya all the way. I said, isn't that good? That's one more check off for the pick me, choose me. Look at there, Sonya. You moving on up in the ranks. And Sonya, did you cook? No. Sonya said, no. They had it catered. Kenya was like, you paid for this dry-ass food? Like, why you got to say that about the damn caterer people? This group of girls, now, if you ain't got this food and the party and the setup right, they gonna definitely say, Sheree was complaining that they didn't have any white meat chicken there. I guess the photo booth ain't working. They can't get the fucking stage set up. Even Drew said that the party was giving Party City. I was just like, yeah, they do kind of, you know, we got paper plates and these little lackadaisical balloons around and all your little props ain't working and shit. Anyway, they sit down, or they kind of, you know, congregate. They're sitting and they're eating and they're talking, and Drew has to bring up, because like I said, Drew and Sonya always have to address everything. Like Kenya said, Drew loves to fight at this point. I mean, she just pick a fight every single time we get together. And, you know, Drew is always just like, no, I'm just trying to get some sort of understanding. I'm just talking. I'm not picking a fight. You know how her face always is. She starts talking about Fatum and the fact that Sheree brought Fatum around and how Fatum was an issue. And Sheree was just like, boo, 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 tomatoes. I'm throwing tomatoes at you, girl. Drew is just like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? You're not making any sense. Sheree was like, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not going to stop talking to Fatum because you don't like her. That's my friend, and I don't care if you don't like her or not. But yeah, Kenya said Drew likes a fight. We'll fight for free. That's pretty much Drew. You know, Sheree was just like, Drew, you have to make everything about you. And Drew was like, she made it about me. But whatever, like I said, Sheree, Drew, even with the argument and everything, Drew sings her happy birthday. Fine. Like, we tired of Drew at this point. Now, Sonya says, okay, she has rules for the trip to Jamaica. I said, girl, you gonna be one of these micromanagers? I can't stand those type of people. Don't tell me what to do on my fucking trip. All right, Uncle Clifford, what the fuck should we do? Rule number 1, make sure you have water-friendly hair. Rule number 2, nobody being standoffish. Rule number 3, no props. Drew can't promise that one. She says she loves to express herself. Rule number 4, no weed. Yes, people think that Jamaica is, legal weed, but it is not legal to have weed in Jamaica, and you going to jail, and ain't nobody got time to be bailing you out. Rule number 5, be on your best behavior. Okay, this is a work trip for Sonya. You know, she can't be putting her money in on this and y'all get out there and act a fool. I said, first of all, this is Real Housewives of Atlanta. We got to show the tape. We need to make sure it's entertaining. Honey, behavior is besides the point at this point. But she says, be on your best behavior and smile. So we'll see how the trip goes. We going to Jamaica next week, y'all. All right, you guys, let me get off of here. I'll get this edited up to you. And that's it. Make sure you rate, comment. I keep saying rate, but I need to change this ending. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. Comment in the comment section below. I don't even know what else I would normally say. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and comment in the section below. I'm going to have to work that into my vocabulary, my vernacular, or whatever you want to call it. Okay? Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.